What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the 77th episode of the Hot Takes podcast. I am your host, Frank McKnight. Today, I am joined by Angelo, Purpura. Thank you for being here once again. Something that I didn't mention to you before the podcast was that we don't usually have a guest return within the same year. We always try to have new people on here, but you are a special case, as I love talking to you about movies and everything like that. Even before the podcast were a thing, working at Applebee's and everything, we always used to love talking movies and whatnot. So glad to have you back on, my man.
Glad to be back.
Hell yeah, my dude. Last time we talked Snyder Cut, which was a lot of fun, and we also did the top 5 time travel movies as well, which was good time. We are doing another top 5 tonight, but before we get to that, we got a couple of news roundup type of topics to do. There are actually 2 reviews, 2 things that came out recently. One is A Quiet Place Part 2, and the second one is the first episode of Loki that premiered last night on Disney+. But we'll talk about A Quiet Place Part 2 first. I know this was a movie you were insanely excited about. I know you wanted to talk about this when it came out. I was like, oh, we should schedule the podcast for when it comes out so we could talk about it, and here we are. I'll go with my thoughts first, and then we could move on to you. So I'll tell you this. I tried to make time to watch the first movie before I watched the second one. Failed to. So I didn't watch the first one going into the second movie. And I'll tell you what, I loved this movie. I loved it. And I'm going to watch the first one this weekend when I actually have time. But I thought the second one was so good. I give so much respect to John Krasinski coming from The Office and doing something like this. Like, I didn't know he had the directing, writing chops that he does have. His wife, Emily Blunt, in the movie, fantastic. Even though she, I don't know how the first movie necessarily went, but she didn't seem to have, like, the biggest role in this one. It was more about the daughter and the new guy that's in it. And the new guy, too, from Peaky Blinders, and he also played Scarecrow in the Dark Knight trilogy. He's a fantastic actor, and he's the one that really shined, in my opinion, in A Quiet Place Part 2. I don't want to get into my gripes with it just yet. I want to keep on talking about all the good things about it. The aliens in this, I thought they were fantastic. I love how fast they are, how powerful they are, that, like, when you see one, it's like, just kill me now. Like, there's no point in running sort of deal. They just catch me in a second sort of deal, Like, they were very overpowered in a good way, which is rare. You don't see a lot of things that are overpowered, and it's like, oh, they're overpowered. Like, this is boring. Like, they should have had some sort of, like, weakness, which, spoiler alert, they kind of do have a weakness. But yeah, I thought the cast was fantastic. Let me move on to a little bit of the gripes, and then I'll probably think of more stuff that I loved about it later on. But too short. I thought the movie was too short. The ending, the movie ended, and the credits started rolling, and I was like, whoa, like, that's it? Like, that's how this one's going to end? And it didn't necessarily end in a bad way. Let's make this a spoiler review. If, I'm telling you guys now, spoiler review. We're going to talk heavy on this. It ended good in the fact that it's like, okay, what's the contraption? What's the little thing that the deaf girl has that makes the noise?
The hearing aid.
The hearing aid, yes. The hearing aid has made it onto the radio station. We are going to save however many people are left in this world that are alive. We're going to save them using this. I thought that was a good way to end it. What I mean by, it ends here, is I thought that the mom and the daughter were going to reunite. I thought that we were going to see other places of Earth where this radio signal is being heard from and the aliens are being affected by it. I thought that the final scene as a whole was a little anticlimactic, with just the one alien hunting the daughter and the new guy. A little anticlimactic with that. But and the son, he kind of pissed me off throughout this movie. The son pissed me off. I thought, I mean, yeah, you're gonna cry when you get a bear trap on your foot. Yeah, I get that, but I think he was stupid throughout the whole movie. Like, he made stupid choices throughout the movie. The mom left to go get the oxygen tanks, tells the son to stay here. Meanwhile, he leaves the safe spot, for no reason whatsoever, accidentally makes a noise, and now he's being hunted, and then locks himself in that chamber that only has, 6 minutes of air or whatever the case would have been. He pissed me off. He just pissed me off. He did have a redeeming factor at the end when he saved the mom. He shot the... The daughter put the hearing aid on the radio station. The son realizes it, blasts it to the alien, and then shoots him in the head. Good redeeming factor. But otherwise, he pissed me off. I'm going to keep on thinking of more stuff as it goes on, but I'd love to hear from you about what you thought about this movie.
Well, for someone who watched the first movie,
yeah,
I was very excited for this movie. I remember when I first saw the first film. I saw it in theaters with a couple of buddies of mine. I really liked the premise a lot, of being quiet to survive, and it was basically a continuation of that. But now it's like it was like the first film. It was like we're in one place, and now in the second film, we're going to multiple different places now.
Yeah,
they kind of explored more of the world, which I'm very interested to see what the rest of the world looks like. They did say in 2023 they're gonna have a spinoff to this.
I saw that. Yes, yeah, I read that.
I really want to know what that's gonna be about.
Me too, but I'd rather them focus on part 3, not a spinoff just yet. I'm cool with the spinoff idea, but I'd rather them do part 3. Maybe
they want to use a spinoff to make part 3.
Yeah, because I just caught myself thinking, if they do a part 3 and solve the whole issue, then what's the point of a spinoff? The issue's been solved. The aliens are gone. They've been killed off, or whatever the case might be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it ends badly and the aliens just kill everyone. You know what I mean? Either way. But go ahead. Keep on going on about... Yeah.
But no, there was a lot of things I like about the second one. I like how they focus more on the daughter. I was kind of hoping to give Emily Blunt a little bit more in this movie, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping maybe part 3 will give her something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I didn't like. The same issue I had with this movie with the first one was you shoot a gun and one of them comes to you. But if it's just one, how come a whole pack of them aren't coming either?
Almost like zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But except a whole pack of them come. In Quiet Place, it's just 1 or 2 of them at most.
Right. Yeah, right. And I think they don't do that because then they're really fucked. You know what I mean? If it was more than one of them, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? You could, shoot one in the head, but then a second later, the second one that's with it is just going to swipe you. It's going to kill you. I think the main reason they don't do that is because there's no way you're surviving that, and some of the characters need their plot armor.
Well, I also think maybe because this is kind of on the countryside, so maybe least populated, it's where the least of them go. So maybe imagine what New York City looks like.
Right.
In this kind of world, I imagine maybe a horde of them are going to be there.
Now that would be a sick spinoff idea, 100%. I agree with you with that. The whole countryside aspect of it, there might be less of them there with less noise and everything like that. But the ship did land close to them, which was revealed.
Yes.
In the second movie.
Yeah. So you would think there would be a lot of them around.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing to think about. How many, and who knows, maybe John Krasinski has it planned, or he already has the idea of how these aliens work together. Maybe the aliens don't like each other. You know what I mean? Maybe they like to work solo. Maybe they're like cheetahs who who live solo. They don't work in packs like lions do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's something like that. I think it's definitely something that he should explain. I think that would be a cool fan tribute, fan tidbit sort of deal. Like, those The Wire interviews, Google questions. They like, you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
It's like, why does John Krasinski, it'll be covered by tape, he peels it off and it reveals the question. Something like that, but do it for A Quiet Place, and he just answers those type of questions. Or do like a little panel or something like that talking about it, because the fan base is pretty big. The fan base is pretty big for this. A lot of people like it. I think it would be worth doing a virtual panel or something like that to explain how these aliens actually work and how this world actually works. Or maybe not do it because he's saving something for a future movie. So it once again goes back and forth with that. Something I just thought of, but now I forgot that I wanted to add. Oh man, I forgot it. It'll come back to me though. What else? What else do you got about this movie?
The sun also kind of like ticked me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what else there to think. I did like how in the opening movie, it was John Krasinski there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because spoiler alert. Do you care if I tell you what happens in the first
I know
movie?
I know what happens.
You already know what happens? Yeah. He dies in the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nice to see him like in the opening. I thought he'd be in a little bit more. That'd be like flashbacks throughout the movie, but clearly not. The first movie was also an hour and a half, and this one was also an hour and a half. So I don't know why they can't just expand it to 2 hours.
Yeah.
I guess maybe because they don't want the movies to overstay their welcome.
Right.
So they think hour and a half could be like a safer bet for them.
It's funny. I'm so used to watching long ass movies like the Marvel movies, or dude, even when I went to go see Cruella, it was over 2 hours long, and that's a movie that overstayed its welcome a little bit. So it's funny, like I watched something like Cruella, I was like, yeah, it could have been shorter. Next weekend, go see A Quiet Place Part 2. It should have been longer. I don't think I'll ever be satisfied with how long a movie is. You know what I mean? No one
can ever be satisfied with anything.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I thought the beginning scene was the best. The day one scene was fantastic.
I really liked that. It was a really nice way to open it.
Oh my god, so good. Yeah. It made me realize that there was another son, which I clearly didn't know because I didn't watch the first movie. But in the first movie, the son dies right in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. From something with a train? Am I right about that?
So they were on a train track.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the movie. Beforehand, though, they went to like a convenience store to get like supplies and stuff. The son takes a spaceship, a toy spaceship, and the father tells him to leave it because if he presses the button and makes noises, all the aliens will come.
Oh yeah.
The daughter gives into him anyways, but tells him to leave the batteries, but he takes the batteries anyways. And as they're on the train track, we're out in the open, he stops, he puts the batteries in the toy, and then the toy goes off. The father's trying to run to get him, but it was too late. One of them got him.
Damn.
It literally, I was like, the opening of the movie, I was like, damn.
That's
and it's PG-13. It's like, you think like if this was R-rated, it was like,
yeah,
it'd be much more like intense.
Wow, I didn't even realize. Was the second one PG-13 too?
They're both PG-13.
Really? I thought they were both rated R.
No.
Wow.
I wish they were rated R because that way, like when the aliens are like killing people, it'd be like more like
bloodier, gruesome.
It's a funny thing. This is another thing that ticked me off. It's like when you see the aliens killing people, they're not even like, you don't even see like them getting ripped apart or anything like that. They're just like getting grabbed and getting thrown away.
Yeah, or it's like a nice wipe, a nice swipe to them, and they fly,
It's like a Modern Warfare lobby when someone gets killed and they get thrown off in the air. It's like that.
Yeah, right.
It's like that.
I mean,
it kind of makes you wish it was R-rated. It's that way it'd be like more like realistic to see.
Yes, 100%.
Instead of just getting thrown off and die.
100%. But I think it's smart that they made it PG-13 to open it up to more audiences. Plus, you don't really see a lot of horror movies. By the way, I didn't think this part 2 was scary whatsoever. No, I don't
even think the first one was scary.
Yeah, okay. It's all about the concept. It's all about the concept of it. they made it work with this horror type of movie to make it PG-13, which you don't see a lot of with, horror movies nowadays. Mostly all of them are rated R that I know of. I don't remember the last PG-13 horror movie that I went to go watch. But I think he did that to open up to a more younger audience, just a broader audience in general. I think it was a smart way of doing it. Plus, there's not a lot of cursing or anything. I mean, they got to be quiet the whole time. Pretty much. Yeah. And this movie kind of reminds me of Bird Box, but instead in that one, you can't look at anything. You have to be blinded instead of not being able to talk or anything. You know what I mean?
And it's funny too because those two came out in the same year.
Did they? Yeah. Oh, they did. Okay. All right. Now, I didn't watch the first one when it first came out because I'm someone, and I'm a little bit of a hypocrite with this because of the Marvel, but I'm someone that when something gets hyped, yeah, that's my crazy dog.
I can hear it.
Yeah. When something gets hyped up a lot, when I mean a lot, I mean like everyone's talking about it in person, on social media, I won't watch it because that ruins it for me.
It overhypes it.
It overhypes it up for myself. I go in there, having the highest of high expectations, and I always, almost 100% of the time, get disappointed. So I never watched the first one because of that. Because it shocked so many people, this, that, the other thing. Same thing with, Stranger Things. When that first came out, it blew up almost immediately, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching this. Ended up watching it maybe a few years later when the third season was about to come out. I absolutely loved it because that hype wasn't... I mean, Stranger Things is hype, but that original hype wasn't there anymore. You know what I mean? And it was the same thing for me with A Quiet Place. That's why I never saw the first one. But now that I saw the second one, I'm definitely going to watch the first one. I love that you don't really need to watch the first one in order to understand the second one.
It basically covers the basis of the first one.
It covers the basis of the first one pretty well. And even if part one didn't come out and this part two movie was part one, still would have been just as fine. You could have just assumed that the dad died. You know what I mean? And it would have been fine. Yeah, I really like that aspect of it because I thought there was going to be some things in there I just wasn't going to catch or understand. There was one thing in the beginning with the watch. I guess that was the dad's watch. Is that some? Is that?
It was the dad's watch.
It was the dad's watch. Yeah. That's something I just got right away. It's oh, that's probably the dad's. There wasn't a lot of things that you had, a lot of things at all that you really had to understand from the first movie. Which I appreciate. But the thing with the overhyped thing where I won't watch stuff, I'm also a hypocrite with that because of the Marvel and DC movies. Right when that shit comes out, I'm watching it. And that brings the case up with the show that we'll talk about soon. But yeah. I'm trying to think what else I liked about this movie. If they do a spin-off, it should definitely be in a more city type of area.
I think they should. I mean, larger populations. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like for the spin-off, they need to, answer, the big questions. How come more than one's not coming out when there's gunshots?
Yes.
Where exactly did the aliens come from? Obviously we know they're aliens that came from space, but where they originate exactly.
Yeah, and a different set of eyes could always bring up new ideas and figure out or realize more about these monsters. So maybe in a spin-off, you could have someone realize oh, this affects them, that we didn't know about from the first two parts. This could affect them. This could do this to them, whatever the case may be. So that's what I mean by a new set of eyes could really bring more detail on what are the strengths and weaknesses of these aliens. I do remember what I wanted to bring up from before. The new guy hinted at you don't want to walk around these parts. People aren't who they used to be. And I thought that was going to foreshadow something much bigger than what it was in this movie. The only little taste we got of that was when the new guy and the daughter went to go get the boat, and then I thought these people were cannibals, but who knows what they were.
I assumed they were cannibals.
Yeah, right. I really thought that right away. I mean, that little girl that put the noose on the guy, Like that was the scary part of the movie.
Was kind of scary.
She was creepy as hell. I thought we were gonna get a lot more of that, like other, like kind of like, have you watched The Walking Dead? Like a Walking Dead situation. Like humans are now fearing humans more than the zombies, you know, because people are just becoming more and more savage. I really thought they were going to delve a lot deeper into that, but the main focus was obviously still the aliens and whatnot. You know, it was kind of stupid what they did. You know, the little girl put the noose on the guy with all those clanking bottles or whatever it was. And it's like, okay, like, if he moves, it's not just him that's fucked. It's everybody surrounding him. So why even do that in the first place? Why not just point a gun with, like, a silencer, you know, whatever the case may be? Maybe a more effective way so you could still kill the guy or eat the guy if they were cannibals without causing as much noise to get yourself killed.
It's like one of those little scenarios you think, like, what if and what should have been.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know how I would have handled that situation. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's like whatever. It's like, however it goes, like, you just pretty much got improvised at that point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And lucky for them, they were close by water, because I don't know if this was discovered in the first movie, but the aliens can't swim. So
it wasn't discovered.
It wasn't. So this was a new thing for the second movie. So that, I thought it was very convenient that they were by water. Obviously, they needed to do that to show the aliens can't swim. And this brings me to another point that I thought was like, all right, like, this was way too convenient. When they make it to the island and the new guy's just walking around and he starts hearing some banging noise and he realizes it's the boat that the alien was on drifted there. Like, come on. That's a little too convenient that this boat just floated to the same island that they went to, you know?
I'm pretty sure they would have saw that too.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, that the song in the radio, it's like Over the Sea or whatever the song was. You know, that was clearly a signal for other people to come there. Like, there was probably a person that should have been on lookout for more people coming their way or something like that, you know? Like,
somebody wasn't doing their job.
Someone was not doing their job. Yeah, that's right. I love the guy who's, like, I guess the main guy of the island. He's in a lot of movies. I forgot his name. You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah, it was the African American actor.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. He's been in a bunch of movies. I know he was in Shazam.
Yes, he was the wizard in Shazam. Yeah. He was Korath in Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel. Yeah, he's a great actor. It was just a cool face to see in this sort of movie. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I do feel like we're talking, at least me are talking like a good amount of the negatives of it, but I just want to say that I thoroughly, really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very good, and the reason why I think I'm nitpicking is because of how good it was and how much better it could have been if they maybe just changed or switched a little bit of things, you know, like, or maybe just like I just wanted more from it because it was so good. Like, no, don't end here. Like, please show me more. No, I very much enjoyed it. It almost makes me regret a little bit not watching the first one when it did come out, or at least watch the first one before I saw the second one. It was excellent. Kudos to John Krasinski, man. I love that guy. He's awesome. I think he's amazing. Yeah. If you got anything else, please let me hear it.
Nothing else really. I mean, I'm just more curious about the spinoff. Mm-hmm. Like, I heard it's not going to be him doing the film. It's going to be someone else. I forgot his name, but I think he is going to be involved in it, but he's not going to be directing. And here's my problem with that: when you got someone who's like in charge of these films, and then you got a new film coming, whether it's a sequel or related to them, you know, and you get someone else to do it, you got to make sure that person is like following the routine, like following the tradition of the films. Because recently I just watched the new Conjuring, and it wasn't James Wan doing the movie, and I was like, I don't know if you've seen it, but it obviously wasn't as good as the first two.
No, I did not watch. I'm not that big of a fan of the Conjuring movies, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Well, the first two movies were written, directed by James Wan.
Yes, I know that.
Third movie, the recent one, was not. He was producer, but he wasn't like leading the whole film.
Gotcha.
And the film was like, it was nowhere comparable to the first two. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like up there with the first two.
Right. What I was going to say about John Krasinski with the spinoff is that maybe he'll be an executive producer and this is his baby. Don't get it wrong. That this property is his baby. I don't think he would let anyone ruin it. I think he's going to make sure this project gets put into the right hands with a great idea that they present to him. And I think he's going to be the one to greenlight every step of the way.
Well, I think it's more up to the studio. I mean,
unfortunately, yes.
If it turns to like the studio meddling, and we've seen that with plenty of other things before.
Oh yeah. Oh
it's
yes.
Like like Raimi Spider-Man and various other things. It's like
DC,
biggest one of all.
Right.
It's like I really hope they just like respect what Krasinski has done, and hopefully they'll let him like take charge of this thing, get the right people for it. It's like they have a really good thing going on right here, and like all it takes is just one really bad film.
Oh, 100%.
That's all it takes. Even though the Conjuring movies have had like more than one bad film, but people still like them.
Yeah. It's kind of like also with Paranormal Activity, kind of like Insidious, a lot of Saw. Oh my God, Saw. Did you watch Spiral?
No, I have not.
Bro, I didn't watch it either, but it just looks so bad to me that I'm pretty sure it was released in theaters, and like maybe a week or two after, it was like a straight to like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Paramount?
It might have went to Paramount Plus, but like straight to DVD sort of deal, like straight to pay-per-view movie. I think after like 2 weeks, because it underperformed so much, they just made it a pay-per-view thing. But anyway, yeah, a lot of movies. There's a lot of bad ones, but I think it's always about the first movie that impacted a lot of people, and it was really good that people keep on still going to see it. So yeah, you didn't really like the new Conjuring, huh?
No.
I think it was the trailers, man. It didn't look scary, first of all. Second of all, I like understood what this new demon was doing to people. But at the same time, I wasn't like a fan of it. I didn't like the concept of it. And like the thing that I found hilarious was like, the kid kills someone because he got possessed or whatever, and they're in the courtroom, and you got Ocean Master, the guy who plays Ocean Master, in the courtroom, and he's like, Your Honor, clearly it was the devil. It wasn't him. It was the devil. And I'm like, okay, like what the hell? But and saying that, apparently it's based on a true story, right? I'm pretty sure
it's based on a true story, but there's been like a lot of like backlash, like all these events aren't like actually accurate.
Right, exactly. Like
the people are real,
loosely based on a true story. Right, the people are real. Right, exactly. All right, I wasn't really planning on seeing that. Just because I'm not a big Conjuring type of person. I didn't watch any of the spin-offs either or anything like that. But maybe if it goes on, I'm assuming it would go on Paramount Plus.
Max.
Oh, HBO Max. It's on HBO Max now, right? All right. Maybe one day on a rainy day or something like that, I'll check at least one of them out. Probably the first one. The first one's good, right?
The first two are really good, yeah.
The first two are really good.
First two are really good. Not the first Annabelle, but the two after that were good. I didn't see the last Annabelle, though, but I heard it was good.
Was that Annabelle Comes Home?
Annabelle Comes Home, and then Annabelle Creation.
Oh, okay, yes. Right. And then they had The Nun, too, right?
Yeah,
was
that one, I saw that in theaters. I was actually very disappointed in that one.
Really?
Because The Nun was introduced in Conjuring 2.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, The Nun was really, like, literally the nun herself was like the worst aspect of the movie.
Really?
Yeah. When she was like the best aspect of the Conjuring 2, she was like the worst in her own movie.
Oh, that's a shame. A shame. That nun is scary as hell, though.
It was really scary. I mean, the whole idea of the movie was like really cool. Like there was like the origin of the nun, but then it got pretty much ruined by bad writing.
Right. Speaking of just like going to the movies and everything like that, I am happy as all hell that the movies are like basically in full swing now.
Yeah.
people going there, like, so many good movies are coming out first of all, and the fact that people are going out to see it, it's not like a Tenet situation where it's like, oh, theaters are back open starting with Tenet, and no one went to go see it except for, I don't know if you did, but I know me and my usual co-host Luke were the only ones in the theater watching the movie. Like, I'm just glad the theaters are back in full swing. I've been going every weekend so far. First weekend I went to go see was Cruella. Then A Quiet Place Part 2. This weekend I'm actually going to see Into the Heights, that musical movie.
Yeah, that comes to HBO Max too.
Oh, does it? Yeah, I'm gonna see it in the theaters this weekend with my family. And the reason why I'm really interested in seeing that is because I really like that Hamilton Broadway play, and it's from the same creators as that, and the music is very similar to the music in Hamilton. So yeah, just something to throw out. I'm very excited to see that movie.
Yeah, musical films are fun.
Yeah, they are. They are. Did you see Steven Spielberg is making West Side Story, remaking West Side Story?
I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, they released a trailer for it. Might have been a couple months ago, actually. I think it's coming out in December.
Yeah, what did I watch? I watched The Greatest Showman recently.
That I haven't seen yet. I heard that was very good.
It's on Disney Plus.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, my sister liked it. I thought it was okay. What else I watched? It was a one movie with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
Oh, La La Land?
La La Land.
Yes, I heard that was fantastic. I heard that was one of the best of all time as far as like musical type of movies. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that went up for a couple Oscar awards as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they won any, but they were definitely nominations for it.
Yeah, I'm normally not one for musical films, but like if it's like with the family, it's like I'll watch it.
Yeah, 100%. And you want to know what? The music is so important, like as it clearly should be. You know, I like the rap type of music. You know, like that's why I loved Hamilton so much, because all the music was rap and like alternative rap and everything like that. I'm like, this is something I've never heard before, and it's freaking awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
if it has that genre in it, I might check it out.
Oh my god! Oh, it does. It does. Into the Heights is definitely gonna have that. But yeah, we could move on to our second review if you're ready to go with that one.
Whenever you are.
All right, cool. So our second review, we are reviewing the very first episode of Loki, the new Disney Plus Marvel MCU show that came out. Debuted yesterday. For you guys, it would be, I guess, a week ago or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to think about that. But so I'll just give my initial thoughts on it first. I thought it was very good. I do believe it was a little slow throughout the whole episode, but it's 100% understandable because they need to explain everything that's going on, where he's at, how time works, how everything works in this new world or section or wherever they are. And I think this was, this episode was slow in a good way too, because we already see character development in this Loki just through this first episode. Loki was almost going through like a therapy session with Owen Wilson throughout this whole episode, and he finally breaks through at the end. And by that I mean he's always saying is like, oh, like I like to, in the beginning he's acting like, oh, I like to kill, like, oh, you can't trust me, like I could do this, I could do that. And at the end he finally breaks down and he's like, yeah, I kind of do these things so I have a sense of power without really having it. You know what I mean? Like he finally admits to himself that. And I thought that was great character development right off the bat. I also really love the aspect that this isn't the same Loki that we've last seen in Ragnarok and Infinity War. This is Loki right after the first Avengers, when he's still full-fledged villain. Like when he's still that arrogant guy who just wants power, who believes he deserves this power and to rule the world, and whatever the case may be. Midgard, as he says in the episode. And yeah, I mean, the fact that he looked through his whole life, and saw the way he died, saw the way how he starts to redeem himself a little bit working with Thor in Ragnarok and in the Dark World. A very powerful scene I thought was him seeing his mother die, through, finding out that his mother dies. And we all know that Loki, out of all of his family, he was closest with Frigga, I believe her name is, the mother. So yeah, I think we already saw a huge step in character development for Loki just from this first episode. Owen Wilson's character, I liked. I still need to see more of him, sort of deal. He hasn't wowed me yet, and I say wow like wow, like Owen Wilson, like he hasn't wowed me yet. But I'm sure he will throughout the episode. I think the show has the potential of being not as good as WandaVision, but almost there, almost right there. What else do I gotta say about it? The ending. Loki's like, so what do we got to do? Who are we going after? And Owen Wilson is like, actually, it's you. And that I found interesting. It makes me think, it was like, were they trying to get Loki to help him out before, but he was able to escape, became vigilant, whatever the case may be. Now he's messing with the time. Who knows? They still don't reveal who that person is under the hood. I'm assuming it's this Loki. But before the show even came out, I've been reading stuff online that it might be Lady Loki. Have you heard stuff on that at all?
A friend of mine at work sent me a theories video that it is probably Lady Loki. It could just be an alternate version of Loki, like from the future.
Yeah.
From an alternate timeline that he will eventually like break. Now, it's interesting because I thought Wanda was going to be the one to like do the multiverse, but now I'm seeing that it's maybe more of Loki.
Yes.
Than anything. So I don't know, like the possibilities are endless, which is like what really intrigues me in the show. They did say this show out of all the three so far is going to be like the most impactful. So I really want to see what that's going to look like.
Yeah, same. I think, do you know how many episodes this is going to be?
6.
Only 6?
6, same as Falcon Winter Soldier.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
I'm like thinking like WandaVision was like 9, and these last 2 shows have been like 6. Like
I thought Loki was gonna be longer than that. You really? Oh, dude, I'm thinking it was gonna be like a 9-episode thing too.
No, it's like depending on the story, but I don't get that anymore. It's like Falcon Winter Soldier, I definitely think it could have been longer.
Me too.
Yeah, and Loki, I definitely think it could be longer too.
Yeah, we only watched the first episode, and we already think it could be longer. Like we see the potential for it.
I thought that could have been shorter. It's like what you said, like you can never be satisfied.
Yeah, right, exactly. Circling back to that for sure. Wow, only 6 episodes. Okay.
Yeah, last episode on July 14th. That's like a week after Black Widow comes out.
Okay, gotcha. What else do I got to say about this, man? I think the TVA is a very interesting concept. I know they took this out of the deep, dark holes of comic books. I know this is a very out-of-this-world sort of concept that was made in the comics that they're bringing into the MCU and whatnot. I've been watching a lot of people online about their excitement about the TVA, real big like comic book nerds and everything like that. And it's like, wow, they're actually doing the TVA. Like we're talking about, like Loki even says it, lizard people. He's like, we're talking about these lizard people having control over this timeline. They're almost like maybe considered the most powerful beings of the universe.
Yeah.
And I think that really opened Loki's eye in the episode as well. Like, what he wants is power, right? And I think he's starting to realize, like, wait, I'm in the place where all that power is. So maybe I should stick around. You know what I mean?
When he opens up the drawer and sees, like, all the Infinity Stones were useless?
Yeah, exactly. That part I was like, whoa. Like, now really, where are we? You know what I mean? Like, they're treating Infinity Stones like it's freaking paper clips in a junk drawer. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? So, like, found that very interesting. I don't know what they're gonna do with the Tesseract, if they're really gonna make it a big part of this season or whatnot. But we'll see where they go with that. I also heard that this is gonna be the first Marvel show that's gonna be more than one season. I've been hearing that there's already like talks and productions for a season 2, which would be interesting. And if they do that, hopefully it's longer than 6 episodes, because you're right, Falcon and Winter Soldier was too short for me, for sure. And for me, you might have thought WandaVision was a little too long. I thought it was perfect. I really did think it was perfect the way they had it with 9 episodes. But yeah, that's off the top what I gotta say about Loki. Let's hear what you gotta say about it.
Well, I mean, for first episodes, like, I don't have, like, expectations too high. Like, it's just, the first episode's just an introduction, so that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I really liked it a lot. I obviously can't say if I liked it more or less than the last 2 Marvel shows because you haven't seen a full season yet.
Yeah, right.
So, I'll at least wait till the last episode and make my full verdict on that. But so far it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of talking, but, like, again, that's kind of what I expected. I didn't expect much, like, I didn't expect, like, fighting or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, such as, like, the last 2 shows.
Yeah, right. And I think we're going to be getting a lot of action this season. I definitely think that. But I think it's just as a first episode explaining and structuring this world, they needed to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, what else you got? Is there anything else you gotta say on it?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, like, I'm really interested in where it goes. I do wonder, like, what's the next show after this? I think it's What If.
Yeah, it is.
What If? I know they finished Hawkeye. Miss Marvel's supposed to come out later this year.
Miss Marvel, and I think She-Hulk is also supposed to come out.
All this year?
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder how that works in terms of schedule. Just consider you got Black Widow, Shang-Chi, The Eternals, and Spider-Man also coming out this year.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That just feels like a really, like, tight schedule for Disney.
You're absolutely right. I need to double check on what that schedule actually looks like. But I do believe we have Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, What If, and I almost swear She-Hulk is coming out this year. I could be wrong, but I think She-Hulk. But then, like you said about the movies, we're already almost at the end of the year. We still have 4 movies to go, Marvel movies to go before the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's wild to me. That's actually wild. And the problem is, I don't want people to get, like, oversaturated with all the Marvel stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like some people are already there already, or some people are like, all right, Endgame happened. That's it for me. You know what I mean? Like, what else could they do? You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm over it now. Iron Man's dead. Captain America, Steve Rogers is gone. That's it for me. That's all I needed. I think some people are like that as well. But I think what Marvel is doing right now is recharging. They're recharging their batteries and setting up something totally brand new for the Avengers to come back together and team up against something or whatever. Right now, obviously, what it's looking like right now is the multiverse. What they're going to be doing stuff with the multiverse. But I think that's just a side thing of what's really going to be happening in the future as far as new Avenger movies and new team-up movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you were right what you said about before. I think this show is going to be the most impactful. Maybe dealing with the multiverse, maybe dealing with other stuff. I mean, they already mentioned the multiverse in that cartoon tutorial video that they had in the episode, like right in the beginning. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They threw the word out there. They threw the word multiverse out there. So there's that. And yeah, I thought it was very good. I watched it with my mom last night. She was like falling asleep from time to time, and then once it finally ended, I was like, "So what did you think?" And she was like, "I didn't like it." I'm like, all right, well, you got to understand, like,
again,
it's a first episode, you know what I mean? And she's the only person that said that. Everyone else that I talked to said they really enjoyed it. So, I think there'll be a few people that think they might have gotten on the wrong foot with it, but they'll just have to wait and see, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's all I have with Loki. Last thing I'll say about it is that I love Tom Hiddleston. He perfects that role. And, one little concern I had with it was that I guess some of the jokes didn't really land with me. I also think they didn't, and this is fine. I think there was not a lot of jokes or, funny moments in this episode, which I'm actually fine with. But the jokes they did try to pull didn't really land for me. The only thing I thought was really funny was when Loki first gets into the desert in the beginning of the show, and he gets hit with that stick, and he's all in slow motion, but everyone else is like moving in real time. Yeah. I thought that was sick, and I thought that was pretty funny as well. I really enjoyed watching that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I like how their weapons work, and I hope we see more of what they could do and what these TVA soldiers, investigators, whatever you want to call them, could do with their weapons. And maybe some of them have powers. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, there was like that little device they put in the ground. It was like the reset.
Oh yeah,
I like to see how that actually looks.
Yeah, me too.
I think that like imagine like I want to see like what happens if someone from TVA or whatever gets like caught into that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that. All great points. And hopefully we'll see that later on this season as well. But, all right. Those were our 2 reviews that we had there. We are going to move on to our main topic, which is top 5 canceled shows that should be revived. So me and Angelo picked out our own 5 shows that we personally loved, but they canceled it. Maybe too soon, maybe too late, whatever the case may be, but we would just love to have it back. So what we'll do is, if we had any honorable mentions, which we might not, because like as we were talking before, we were actually having a hard time filling up our top 5 for this. So did you have any honorable mentions you wanted to bring up?
I managed to get a last minute 5th one.
Oh, you did? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't have any honorable mentions. I just have my top 5 list. So what we'll do, I'll go first, move on to you, and then keep on going back and forth like that, like we usually do on the podcast. So my number 5, it's actually a show that didn't get canceled, but I would love for them to come back. And the only reason why I say it should come back is because I think there's still more story to tell with it. And it's Wilfred. Do you remember that show at all?
Wilfred.
It's with it's the guy in a dog costume, and it has Elijah Wood in it.
Oh, wait a minute. Was this on TNT?
It was on something, but it was on Netflix for a while. I watched the full thing on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there. But yeah, Elijah Wood tries to kill himself in the beginning of the show, and then he wakes up, and his dog is a human in a dog costume, but everyone else sees him as a normal dog. Elijah Wood sees the dog as a human in a dog costume.
I think I remember this. Yeah,
that show.
I never watched it, but I seen like the commercials and stuff.
Bro, that show is hilarious, trippy, creative, mind-fucking. It is so many things because the show starts off as just like a funny bit, like the whole concept is just one funny bit, but then it moves on to, is Wilfred actually real? Like, am I dead and am I living in the afterlife? Like, all sorts of things. It starts getting trippy and mind-fuckery like that in the later seasons. It is fantastic. It's been so long, I don't really remember how it ended. But all I do remember after watching it was, wow, they still could have kept on going with this. They could have done a lot more with this, and it would have been fantastic. So it wasn't a show that got canceled. It wrapped up nicely, and they weren't forced by the studio to wrap it up or anything like that. That was the end of their story. So it didn't get canceled or anything of that nature, but they just ended it. But I think they had a lot more they could have told, and that's why I would love for it to get revived one day in the future. Prayers up for that one. But that's what I have as my number 5.
Okay, so my number 5. I don't know if you know the show. I don't think anybody knows the show, but it's a show called Breakout Kings.
Breakout Gangs?
Breakout Kings.
Oh, Breakout Kings. No, I haven't.
So this is like an old show. It was about cops and criminals working together to catch criminals who break out of jail. I don't necessarily want the show to be revived. I like the idea of the show. Yeah, I think it played on AMC, FYI.
It played in AMC, you said?
Yeah.
The channel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it played on AMC. I gotta double check on that. But The idea of the show was cops and criminals working together and trying to figure out what a criminal would do, where they would go, and how we can like catch him. Yeah, it was interesting. It was like Criminal Minds, but with what's this show? Brooklyn Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a mix of those two. It was like crime, but it was also like comedic.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem with the show was like the characters were not very likable. Yeah. They had a good cast, but the characters, like the writing was like all over the place. Yeah, it tried to go deep with the characters, but then eventually it was like, okay, whatever. Next thing. They didn't really give like a strong like storytelling in terms of like direction.
Yeah.
It was like, we catch a criminal, cool, next episode.
Right.
You know, it was just kind of like, this is what the show is. We're just gonna, you know, go along with it. That makes sense.
It didn't follow like there wasn't a storyline thread that carried throughout episode to episode. Like once the episode ended, all right, new story, next episode.
Like the last episode didn't exist, except for any episode that did matter for a character or for like the general story.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was one of those shows. But I really like the idea of the show. You know, cops and criminals like working together.
Yeah.
You know, if like they should like, I think it would be cool if maybe Netflix can like pick this up. Because Netflix is like, they're all going hard with their shows nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Like they're all going hard, and it's like, I think, or maybe not like a reboot, but maybe just like take the idea of it and like just make like a whole new thing out of it.
Okay.
You know, I think it'd be interesting. You know, I really did like the idea a lot. Maybe with like a new cast, maybe with stronger like writing.
Yeah,
maybe jokes are actually funny. Because one of the shows, they try to be, it's like MCU jokes. It's like, we try to be funny, but then like we kind of like overstate the joke.
Yeah, right. Okay. So you basically want it to have the same, like it's the same property, but reinvent it. Like, new cast, maybe actually have a storyline thread that carries throughout episodes, just better writing and jokes in general.
Yeah.
But keep the concept the same. Okay. I love that concept. I think that's a great concept. So I would watch that 100%. I think that's a really good one. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people just don't know this show.
I never heard of it. It's an old show, like really
old? It
old?
was like a couple years ago. It had like 2 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, at the finale, they just released like the last 2 episodes at once, and it's just like, we're done.
And just ended it there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, never heard of it. Maybe if I look it up, see pictures of it, I might have an idea of what it is. But
I really won't know it, but
yeah, I can't even think. I can't even think of what that would even look like. But okay, so that's your number 5 there. My number 4, a little bit of a funny one. Back in the day, I loved the show Celebrity Apprentice. I loved how these celebrities, my favorite one, and he won one of the seasons, Bret Michaels, the rock star, he won one of the seasons. And one of the challenges was he made a Snapple flavor, and whenever I saw that Snapple flavor in the store, I'd always get it. I bought a bunch of them. But anyway, I think Celebrity Apprentice should come back. Get my boy Donald J. Trump back in the chair and rip these people apart for doing a bad job and firing people for doing, a bad job, or maybe sometimes they do a good job, but someone's getting the blame put to it. Have you ever watched that show at all?
What's the premise of it?
So basically it's Donald Trump puts together a bunch of celebrities. They get split off into 2 teams, and their team is a business. They're a company, essentially. And each week, each episode, they're put with a new task. This week, you have to promote a energy drink and make a commercial for it. So the teams are responsible for producing a camera crew, a script, all the stuff you'd think you'd need to make a legit commercial. There'd be other things like you need to start a charity, let's say, for a certain thing of your choice. Like, tell me your plan of it, make a foundation for it, and whatever team does it better wins. The team that loses, everyone's going to put the blame on somebody for not doing their part in making the business, the commercial, whatever the case may be.
So it's sort of kind of like Shark Tanks.
Yeah. Yes and no. Yes and no. Yeah, yes and no, because Shark Tank, you have the board of people basically judging you for your idea and everything like that, and if they like it, obviously they'll buy it. But a Celebrity Apprentice, it's like he's not buying the commercial from you or buying what you've created for the task or anything like that. It's just whoever can be a good team, whoever could be a good asset in a business and whatnot. Because we all know Donald Trump's all about business and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's all about who could be the better business company. And I loved that show. I watched it when I was younger. Trump made me laugh so many times throughout the show. The absurd shit he would say. Even some of the celebrities too, they could get fight. Meatloaf, the old rock star, he was on there. Like they get like B-list to like washed up celebrities on the show. But it's excellent. Now I would love for that show to come back. Trump's probably busy doing his own thing. Jesus, he's probably planning for his presidency again for the future.
Yeah.
But the idea that I thought of today when I wrote down Celebrity Apprentice was it's like, all right, let's let Donald Trump put together a group of people and see who could make a better president and impeach them each week. impeach a person each week. That was just a funny idea I had, but I would love for that show to come back, seriously.
Where can I watch this?
Celebrity Apprentice was a Fox show, maybe? I think it was on Fox or NBC or something like that. Where could you find it now? I will actually look it up as I continue talking. Now, they tried to bring back Celebrity Apprentice. Trump obviously ended the show because he was running for president.
Right.
So they... Oh, that's not what I wanted. So they decided to put someone else at the head of the chair to host The Apprentice, and it was none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it did terrible. Ratings were terrible. I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger did a good job doing it, and it just didn't work out for them. And they only did one season of it, and that's it. NBC, you could watch them, yeah.
So it was like The Office when Carell left, the show basically fell apart.
Yeah, so it might be on Peacock, the NBC's streaming service. I think that's... Yeah, I don't have it either. Apparently it's free, though, for certain things. But then again, who knows if they even like Trump and maybe they don't have his show at all on Peacock. Who knows what the case may be. But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger hosted it, did terrible. You need Donald Trump back to do this type of show. It's never going to happen. It's never coming back. But I would love for it to because I loved it so much.
I got to see this.
Yeah, you definitely do. Or watch clips. Watch funny clips of it on YouTube. I think you'd like it a lot.
I think so, too.
Yeah, that's my number 4.
Donald Trump all the way.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my number 4 was Futurama. Yeah, so I've been doing some research about Futurama when I was looking for my top 5. Mm-hmm. Apparently the show got canceled twice.
Yeah, apparently it was a show that was like a cat. It almost had like 9 lives sort of deal. Like it kept on getting threatened or did get canceled, and then it came back.
Yeah, I know if I'm correct, they said each season was going to be the finale, but then the show still kept going. Even after the first cancellation, it got revived. And in the second cancellation, they still, concluded it.
Yeah.
And I remember... Okay, so I haven't watched, every single episode of Futurama, but I've seen, a good chunk of it. Mm-hmm. I did watch the last episode where, Fred and, what's her name?
I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Futurama. But One-Eyed, yeah. Cyclops.
One-Eyed Lady. Yeah. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
One-Eyed Lady. So, Fred and One-Eyed Lady they're just chilling out. All time is freeze. And then what's his face, the old guy, comes back,
Yeah.
and then he tells her we got to go back to the past. And then they're like, well, ready for another round? And then she's like, yeah. And then I assume that kind of like left the door open for a possible like return.
Definitely.
Yeah. So so based on what I remember, Futurama was just kind of like here and there with audiences and where things was going in terms of, like, the creators.
Yeah.
They do have the other show that they're working on Netflix, Descendants.
Yeah.
Disenchantment.
Disenchantment. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched a few episodes of that, and I was far less interested in that than I was in Futurama.
I hate that show.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it either. I know they did like a second, I think third season.
Yeah, they call them parts. Part 3 is the most recent one. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really watched it. I have no interest in it. I do know that they did like a little tease of Futurama in the first season or first part.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I didn't watch the episode. I just heard about it through the internet.
Yeah.
But no, if they do bring it back, I mean, like, I'll definitely give it a watch. Maybe with new writers, maybe, like, amp up the jokes a little bit. It wasn't a bad show.
No.
To say the least, I mean, sure, it wasn't, like, Family Guy funny. It wasn't, like, as memorable as that.
Yeah.
Or at least the OG Family Guy.
Right.
But no, I mean, I think, things deserve a second chance.
Yeah.
I know there's still people out there who really want a Futurama more than me.
I know a couple people that would. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I like to see it. I mean, listen, Netflix got the creators for the show.
Yeah.
Disenchantment. So, I don't know. I mean, I think that would be... I would imagine if anyone wants to bring back Futurama, it'd definitely be Netflix.
Yeah.
Again, Netflix is going so hard with the shows. I think they would definitely want to take a shot with that. I imagine it'd be like a multi-million-dollar deal, but I mean, they've been making like a lot of deals lately, like with the whole like Knives Out thing.
Yeah, I know that's a crazy one.
Yeah,
that's a crazy deal.
Yeah, so they're probably gonna go like all out on it.
I was never a big fan of Futurama, even though I did watch not a good amount of episodes, but a decent amount at least. My favorite characters are Bender, obviously. I think he's hilarious.
Is Bender the robot?
Yeah, Bender's the robot.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember his name either. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, he's, in my opinion, the best character. And then you have the old professor. He's great, and so is that lobster guy. Forgot his name, but you know what I'm talking about, the lobster guy. Yeah,
that's why I need new writers so we can remember these characters.
Exactly. But I didn't really find it that funny. Those are also the same creators of The Simpsons, and I thoroughly enjoyed The Simpsons. When I was a kid, I owned probably up to season 12 or something like that. I kept on buying them as the DVD packs of seasons went on. I think I have like the first 12 seasons. Loved The Simpsons. So then when I found out that the creators of The Simpsons made Futurama, I was like, oh, awesome. Another great show I'm going to watch. Ended up being a little disappointed with it. Not saying it was bad, but I didn't follow it as much as The Simpsons. And then Disenchantment came out, also by the same creators.
It's like they had a high bar, and then they went down, and then Disenchantment, they went to a really low bar.
Yes, exactly. And I do like the guy, Matt Groening. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. He's the creator of The Simpsons, the creator of Futurama, the creator of Disenchantment. I do like him because he's the father of The Simpsons. I just think kept on going a little bit downhill.
Do you think it's more of like the creators like losing their magic touch, or we just need new writers, or
no, I think it might be the writers. Actually, I think it's definitely the writers, because if it wasn't for the writers, it wouldn't be good or bad comedy. You know what I mean? And who knows if it's the same writers for each of these shows. I sure hope not, even though I would assume it is, because maybe their stuff is just getting stale from The Simpsons going onward, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would like to see Futurama come back. I will agree with you on that. I think a Netflix thing would be cool. Who knows if Fox starts to have their own... Oh, no, Fox is owned by Disney. So if anything...
Oh, yeah, Disney Plus.
If anything, Futurama might go on Disney Plus.
I'm surprised it hasn't already.
Yeah, right. Because, I mean, The Simpsons is already on there.
The seasons.
All the seasons are on there, right. So, I could see it happening in the future, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I like that one, though. I looked that one up, too. When you told me, I was like, yeah, look up shows that got canceled and see what you get. I saw Futurama on there, but I wasn't that crazy big fan of Futurama that I wanted to put it, like, on my list. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's that. All right, my number 3 is Trailer Park Boys. You ever watch that show?
No.
You know what it is?
No.
All right, so think of The Office, but with white trash people living in a trailer park.
Okay.
All right, so it has the camera following them around, like the people acknowledge the cameraman and everything like that. They do the side interviews where they talk about what's going on, like The Office does. And it's just a bunch of white trash people that are just drinking and getting high all day and trying to figure out ways to make money by robbing some bank or some store or selling drugs, whatever the case may be. They almost always end up in jail. It is a hilarious show. It started off as a showcase show, which I guess was like a HBO or Starz type of thing. And then Netflix bought the rights, and new season started going on Netflix. Wow, yeah, I can't believe you never even heard of this show. You don't know the guy, the nerdy-looking guy who almost looks like Handicap. He's wearing the big glasses. His name is Bubbles.
Nope.
He's always like...
I can't even picture what it looks like.
All right, I need to look up a picture of that, too. There's the 3 main guys, Bubbles... Julian and oh man, I can't think of the other guy. All right, this guy.
Oh my god.
No,
but he looks funny.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
Looks funny looking.
He's hilarious. Okay, so wow, all right, you don't know. So it's the main 3 guys that are always figuring out, like, how are we gonna make money? How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do that? And always end up in jail. Now, one of the main characters, and I believe this wasn't their downfall, but this was a lead up to them getting canceled. One of the main actors passed away recently.
Damn.
Undisclosed reasons why, right? And he was a big part of the show. He was one of the funniest people of the show. And for you guys that do know Trailer Park Boys, I hate to break it to you if you don't know, but Mr. Leahy, the actor, passed away, I think, in 2017. And I only found this out a couple months ago, too, and I was heartbroken. I was like, oh, my God. And then I started to think, because I finished Trailer Park Boys on Netflix, and now I'm looking up when the next season is coming out. And I find out that Netflix canceled them. And I can't think of a reason why they canceled the show. It's hilarious. Maybe the views started going down. I don't know what the case might have been. But they canceled the show, and I just was not sure why. I think it's a show that should definitely come back. I mean, I think that the actors, who are also the producers, they're the creators of the show, I think they're also mad at Netflix for them canceling them. But I know they have a new show called Trailer Park Boys Jail, where it shows their life in jail on their own website. It's not even on a service or anything. I almost feel bad for them. But I think Netflix should definitely renew it for another season. It's such a good show. Love that show to death.
Or maybe do a little reunion, like with the Friends they did recently on HBO.
Well, yeah, but the difference is these guys are literally always with each other. Even without the cameras, with or without the cameras, always with each other. They're always, whatever project they do, as far as TV, movie, whatever the case may be, they're always together. And they had a movie. They had a bunch of live stand-up specials that were recorded. They had a lot of things that they did for Netflix. And I don't know why they canceled it. I highly doubt it was a mutual agreement between the two of them. But, yeah, I don't know. But that's my number 3. It broke my heart that Mr. Leahy has passed away. Broke my heart that Netflix canceled them. What are you doing, Netflix? By the way, this one, my number 3 plus my 2 and 1, throwing a lot of shade at Netflix. By the way, throwing a lot of shade. But I'll let you go with your number.
My
3.
last 2 will be 2 as well. Number 3, Teen Titans, the OG Teen Titans.
Good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So this was a weird one. So remember how that show ended?
Was it with Red X?
No. It was when, after they beat Brainiac, there was the episode after, Tara comes back, but it wasn't her. It was like her, but like her memory was lost. Never explained why. And then Beast Boy tries to go after her, and then while the rest of the team goes after this thing. I forgot.
Oh, no, but it leads up for another season, though.
It led up for another season.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember. I don't remember it that well. It's been a while, but
I just rewatched it a while ago on HBO Max.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Literally everything's on HBO Max.
I know, it's awesome.
Awesome. I'm
is.
actually rewatching Samurai Jack too.
Dude, I love that show.
Yeah,
that new season. Did you ever watch the new season?
So I've been like kind of like scattered with the first 4 seasons. I haven't watched every single episode, but season 5 is the one whole season I haven't watched.
Bro, amazing.
I'm looking forward to it. I heard it was really good.
So good.
But yeah, Teen Titans, it was weird. They had the next season set up, but it got canceled. I don't know why exactly it got canceled. There could be like a million reasons why. But I know a few months after that, Cartoon Network, they did a movie where they went to Japan.
Oh, yeah, I never watched it, but
it wasn't very good for what I remember. It wasn't that good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like, I felt like it wasn't necessary to do.
Yeah.
Like, I would have rather had season 6 than just a movie. And then after that, it was done. And then we got the Teen Titans Go.
Horrendous. The movie wasn't that bad. I actually enjoyed the movie.
The Teen Titans Go movie?
Yeah.
It was all right.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. But the show itself, what a disgrace. What they did to Teen Titans.
But even though, it's funny you said it, in the movie, they did tease they were going to return.
Oh, right. That was like the post-credit scene or whatever. And then they did something. They did like a special
It was a movie.
crossover. It was a movie, right.
Yeah. I watched that too on HBO Max.
And what you think?
It was okay. I just really wanted it to be like a Teen Titans return.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that than just a weird crossover movie.
That was their perfect opportunity. Like, have that movie and have that branch off into the Teen Titans show coming back.
Build up a multiverse.
Yeah, why didn't they do that? That's so annoying to me. Yeah. That was their open opportunity to branch it out and to reintroduce the original Teen Titans show, and they just didn't do it. That annoys me so much. Like, how are you just going to tease it? How are you just going to sprinkle a little taste of the original Teen Titans again?
Yeah. I got so excited with that.
Yeah.
I got so excited.
I mean, it was hype when everyone saw that post-credit scene. It was like, oh my God, the original Teen Titans are coming back. We don't know how they are, but they're coming back. This is amazing. And it ended up being this movie, Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go, I believe it was called.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch it. I know it didn't get the best reception. But like I said, pissed that they didn't branch that off back to the original.
Definitely would have rather have a season 6.
Yeah.
And it still kills me knowing that we never knew how it ended from there.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, even like with the crossover movie, it was like all the seasons were retcon.
Yeah, right, retcon. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm very curious of why that show got canceled. Maybe the merchandise wasn't doing well. That's usually always the case of if something moves forward or whatnot, the toys, everything like that. Maybe they just weren't selling well. I know that's big with Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and everything like that. So they were probably looking at the numbers. Wow, it's dipping down a lot. All right, cancel it. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's put our energy somewhere else where it's going to make more money. Little did they know, everyone still wanted it.
Little did they know. Although I will say, recently with Teen Titans Go, they did an episode that was very funny, and they're like roasting Jared Leto's Joker.
I heard.
You saw that?
Yeah,
I actually thought that was funny. That's like the first time Teen Titans Go actually did something that made me laugh.
That's what I like about Teen Titans Go, is that they roast DC properties heavy. I believe they also made fun of the whole Martha thing too. Either in the movie or they did it in the movie.
And there was a scene with Green Lantern.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a movie, but we don't talk about it.
Yeah, right.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah, I love how they rip on themselves. Basically, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's like the only times when it's actually funny.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. No, that's a good one, man. I want to look up later on. I'm gonna look up why it, like, the speculations of why it got canceled. You know?
Yeah, I'm curious too.
Yeah. All right. So my number 2. Another Netflix show, actually a Marvel show. It's The Punisher. Fantastic show. Only lasted 2 seasons. We all know why that ended. You probably you guessed, right? What my number 1 is too.
We both have number 1, number 2.
The same exact thing.
Same exact thing.
So let's talk then. So your number 2 is Punisher as well.
Number 2. And might as well just say my number 1.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the Daredevil.
Daredevil. Yeah, Daredevil is my number 1. I've had these 2 shows on my top 5 Netflix shows list when I did that for another podcast. And I preach every time I talk about these 2 shows. They should have never been canceled, especially Daredevil.
Yes.
You know, like, Punisher was one thing. Like, it was a fantastic show. Yeah, it shouldn't have been canceled when it did. But when you talk about Daredevil, that was an even more fantastic show. And there was still so much story. There was still so much lead up that should have been followed through in a later season. I mean, season 3, the last season ended with either a post-credit scene or it was the last scene before the credits, with Bullseye waking back up, and he has, like, the mechanical eye, whatever it was. You know, that was a tease for another season.
Yeah.
Like, they made that scene, crossing their fingers, hoping to God that Netflix wasn't going to cancel them.
But they did anyways. Yeah, they had a whole storyboard. They had everything ready, and then they got canceled, which is weird because I remember, you know, before Daredevil, it was Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Everyone thought those 2 got canceled because they were doing a Heroes for Hire show.
Yeah.
Heroes for Hire. And I thought, oh, okay, that's a really good idea. I mean, I like Luke Cage and Iron Fist a lot together. It's funny because I don't like those 2 shows separately.
Me neither.
Yeah, but when they're together, though, that's when they're, like, actually interesting.
They had a good dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Defenders, too.
Yeah.
Although I didn't really like Defenders that much.
Yeah, I wasn't that crazy about Defenders. I think it would have been better as a movie.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. God.
No, what I was going to say. It was like... But then Daredevil got canceled. And fun fact, I canceled my Netflix subscription when they canceled it.
Did you really?
I did.
You got pissed?
I was that pissed. Like, Netflix lost these years' worth of my money. I'm not even kidding. Like, I literally canceled my
subscription. Still don't have it to this day?
Well, here's the funny thing. When quarantine happened last year, I was like, you know what? I need time to, like, kill, so I need Netflix.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you for sure, if quarantine didn't happen last year, I would have never gone back to Netflix.
I think it's Netflix's fault, too, that they canceled it. I really think it is, because...
Well, for what I'm aware, they were pissed off because Disney was making their own streaming service.
Yeah, they were pissed about that, but here's the thing. I don't know why Netflix was pissed at Disney for making their own streaming service, because Netflix had the rights to Daredevil. So why should they be pissed? If anything, Disney should be pissed at Netflix. Give me the rights back. Give me the rights back. And Netflix is like, no, we have an amazing show going on. Why would we ever do that? It's like Sony not giving Spider-Man fully to Disney and Marvel. Why would they do that? Their biggest moneymaker in the world right now is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that was the same case with Netflix and Daredevil. In a sense, Netflix has other great hit shows like Stranger Things and all that. But Daredevil was Daredevil. That was a sick show that even non-superhero fans, non-comic book fans enjoyed a lot. Why?
Like, Daredevil was the reason why I even got Netflix in the first place.
Yeah.
There was a reason to get Netflix, and there was a reason for me not to get Netflix anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That also becomes full circle. I just found that, man. When what did they cancel first? Luke Cage?
There was Iron Fist first. It was
Iron Fist
right after the
first.
second season, which I actually thought the second season of Iron Fist was better.
I heard it improved. I didn't watch the full thing of the second season, but I heard it improved a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So they canceled Iron Fist first, which to me made sense, but it also worried me about the other shows.
Yeah, and then a week after that, literally the week after, Luke Cage got canceled.
Luke Cage got canceled.
The second season came out like months after.
Right. And then I think after that, Punisher got canceled.
No, Daredevil.
Daredevil got canceled next?
It was because after the third season came out, there was like no news of renewal. Like everyone was afraid like they're gonna cancel it.
Yeah.
Month later, and it's funny. I remember this. It's weird. They canceled it. They straight up canceled it, and then after the seasons of Punisher and Jessica Jones came out, those two got canceled.
Yeah, like immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. Right.
They didn't want to say
you're
it was
right.
canceled before because people weren't gonna watch it, but I don't think anyone did anyways.
I didn't watch the third season of Jessica Jones, and Jessica Jones I enjoyed. I enjoyed Jessica Jones a lot.
I liked the first season a lot.
I liked both. I liked season 1 and 2. I really enjoyed it, but just because I knew that was it after the third season, it's like, no, I don't want to watch this. This universe is over now.
Yeah.
Like for me, there's nothing really to look forward to. Sure, I could look forward to how they concluded Jessica Jones' story, but to me, I was just so pissed that this whole situation was going on with them canceling these shows that I was like, no, I'm not watching this. I was furious, my dude. Furious. And let's get into the reasons why they should be revived, right? Forget about Punisher, right? Punisher, all I'll say about Punisher, it should be revived because it was a fantastic show. They had a great actor, John, right? John Bernthal. Yeah. Great actor attached to it who played Frank Castle to a T. That's that for that one. That's why that should be revived. Daredevil, it should be revived, and there is a potential that it could be revived in a way. There's heavy rumors that Charlie Cox, the guy who plays Matt Murdock, Daredevil, is appearing in Spider-Man No Way Home as Parker's lawyer. I would love to see that because that could branch off to Daredevil either getting his series back on Disney Plus or getting a movie series, right? Now, he would get his series back in a way, and I say in a way on Disney Plus, because there's no way in hell they're continuing making it rated R.
Well, I feel like a movie will work even better.
A movie would work even better because they're making Deadpool rated R. Yeah, even if they made a movie, they wouldn't do it rated R. They wouldn't. If he's going to appear...
Well, you can't do a PG-13. You're downgrading the character at that point.
Well, they would have to make it PG-13. If he's going to appear in Spider-Man, a PG-13 movie, and you're having Daredevil in there so you could subconsciously promote that he's going to be in a future movie for like his own solo movie, you're getting kids excited for his solo movie. How are you going to make it rated R?
Well, how are you going to do it with Deadpool?
Deadpool was always rated R.
Yeah, but if he's part of the MCU now, like how are you going to promote? Oh, his movie's R-rated too.
I think
it's a complicated situation.
It is.
Yeah, but
I'm curious of how. Speaking of Deadpool, I'm very curious of how they're gonna work that out. Him being connected to the MCU, but at the same time, Daredevil's just that Deadpool's just that character that you could do whatever you want with, and he'll joke around about being connected, but only being loosely connected. You know what I mean? Like his Deadpool 3 is gonna be like, oh, they put me in the MCU now. Look at that. Like us as an audience and a society give him the pass for even saying that in his own movie, acknowledging that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But Daredevil, I'm telling you, dude, they revive his series, and it's on Disney Plus. It's not going to be as bloody. It's not going to be as gruesome. It's not going to be as dark as we all loved it was on Netflix than it would be if it was on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So that gives me the feeling, should it be revived? I would love for it to be revived back on Netflix. On Disney Plus, though? I don't think so.
I mean,
don't think so.
doesn't Disney have a deal with Hulu? That could always be possible.
That is true. Yeah, you're right.
That could be a possibility.
You're right, because they also have that that claymation show that I don't even know if I'm gonna watch. MODOK,
yeah. I see clips of it. It seems kind of funny.
Is that rated R?
It's definitely not kid friendly. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. If they put it on Hulu, if they do Daredevil on Hulu instead, then it could work. I think you just found a loophole with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, hell, do it. Just do it. Revive it. Make it what it was. And people will be happy.
Do you think it'll be the same version we remember, or do you think it's going to be a alternate version?
No, I would hope it's the same version.
I feel like it will be the same thing, but I feel like they're going to cut some corners. Probably.
As far as what?
Like
what are you thinking?
Well, if you remember, like, it was like teasing, oh, we are in the MCU. Like, all the Marvel Netflix shows is that. I think it's going to kind of be like a soft reboot for the shows. Maybe. I mean, I think Iron Fist will probably be the only one that'll get a hard reboot. Maybe even Luke Cage. But I don't know. I'm very curious to see, because I know Marvel now has the rights to all the Defenders now.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So it's going to be really curious to see what they're doing. I mean, considering with Multiverse now, I mean,
yeah,
anything's like possible now.
Anything's possible now. You're absolutely right. I just hope it comes back, man. I just really do. I mean,
they really had a good thing going.
They really had a good thing going. I'd hate to see someone else get casted as Daredevil nowadays. Like, Charlie Cox owned that role. I feel bad. I'd feel bad for Charlie. You know?
I felt bad for all the cast.
I felt bad for everyone too. Yeah, right. Here's the thing too. Besides Iron Fist, I loved how everyone was casted in the Defenders.
Yeah.
The guy who played Danny Rand, he was from Game of Thrones.
Finn Jones,
yes. He didn't do it for me. Yeah, he didn't do it for me, but the rest of the cast, I think they hit the nail in the coffin, for sure, for that one, in a good way. That's usually a bad saying. But yeah, in a good way. They nailed it right on the spot, basically. But yeah, that's what I have on Punisher and Daredevil, man. When all I'll say is that when Daredevil got canceled, I was so furious, as so many people were. Season 3 could arguably be the best season. What do you think?
I think so.
I think so too.
I'm like up there with season 3 and 1, but I think season 3 is definitely good.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another thing too. Recasting Kingpin. I don't think you could beat the Kingpin.
You definitely can't do that. You 100% can't do that.
Exactly. You can't. He was such a good Kingpin too. So yeah, man. That's all I got to say on Punisher and Daredevil. Top 2 shows that should definitely be revived after being canceled.
And the other thing I will add is that if Cox is in Spider-Man and you got Doctor Strange in there and you have presumably Maguire and Garfield and all the villains from those movies back in his movie, it's got to be 3 hours.
It's got to be 3 hours.
2.5 at least.
No, yeah, you're right.
I mean, with those amount of people, like, you got to make it a decent long movie.
Something that has me worried about this Spider-Man movie is that it's just going to be overpacked. There's going to be too much going on that they can't handle.
I feel the same way, too. Like, I still want to be about Peter Parker. Like, considering, like, Far From Home kind of, like, lost focus of him. It was, like, all about, oh, Iron Man's gone.
Yeah.
This and that.
Yeah.
You know? Because I, for one, really like Homecoming. And
yeah.
Far From Home kind of felt like it was, like, going a different direction in terms of the story.
Yeah, definitely.
It threw it off a little bit, and I don't know where we are with No Way Home.
Yeah. Each of these movies seems like it's like somewhat following a story thread, but not really.
I feel like all the MCU movies are kind of like that.
Yeah, right, but no, you're right. I'll be honest with you, I'm not the craziest big fan of the new Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
I'm not. I
mean, I like them better than the Amazing Spider-Man movies, for sure.
I like the Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, I like the Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, first one's not bad.
Yes.
First one's
the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was duty. It was duty, that movie, for sure. But I think that series had a lot more potential than the Spider-Man Home series does. Still does.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that's just my 2 cents on that. But I am scared. I am scared about No Way Home. I think it could be too overpacked with characters, too overstuffed. And yeah, it is Marvel Studios. I have trust in thee. Still scared.
Yeah.
And I haven't been scared for a Marvel project in a very long time. But this one I'm scared about.
What makes you more nervous, this or Eternals?
Oh, this. Oh, Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like Eternals is like the more concerned one for me.
Why?
I don't know. It's like, I mean, listen, I give them credit for trying new things, but I just hope this one's not gonna go like overboard. I mean, plus it's like one too many new characters they're introducing.
Right. Right.
And as we're just saying about Spider-Man, it feels like it's gonna be too overpacked. So I feel like those two movies are gonna kind of have like the similar problem.
I have very good feelings about Eternals because it's very different. I love how they're introducing all these new characters. I love that my boy Jon Snow and Robb Stark are in the movie.
Yes.
I'm not too worried about Eternals, like at all.
I mean,
Really
I'm hoping
not.
it's good.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's good.
I mean, the director that directed it had Best Picture at the Oscars this past year. So that's a big confidence boost.
But how
for
much
me.
control do you think he had of the film? That's the question.
I think Marvel's good with letting the director. They're not DC, man. They're not DC where these freaking studio executives are trying to pull their own strings for the story and whatnot. I think the Marvel has trust in their directors big time, and I think I forgot her name, but she's gonna do I think she did. I think she made a fantastic movie. I think she really did.
I hope so. I really do.
Oh yeah, 100%. But all right. I mean, unless you had anything else you wanted to add, I think we could end it right there.
I think we're good.
Awesome, man. Angelo, appreciate you joining the pod
Always
once
good.
Again.
Always good to be here.
Absolutely. We will have you on in the near future as well on another topic, as far as maybe another movie review that, we're both excited. Maybe we'll do it for Spider-Man. We'll see what happens in the near future. But thank you for being here. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and also follow us on Instagram at Podcast with Frank. I'll be posting clips and I'll be posting clips of my podcast, among other projects that I'll be working on. We're also on Facebook and Twitter now as well, at Frank_videos, so check us out there. And that'll do it for us. Have a good night, and peace out. I know you've created the Cyclops one, right?
Yes, I did.
And the Hawkeye one.
Yes, I did. So with Cyclops, and I'm going to get into my various roster here in a minute. With Cyclops, I had a buddy of mine 3D print me the classic X-Men 80s Cyclops visor. All I had to do was put in like the little red piece just to make it look like I had the red visor.
Yeah.
That's all I had to do. And my grandmother, this woman, she just makes magic happen. She helped make my leather Cyclops vest, and then all I had to do was 3D print the pods to attach to the utility belt on the bottom half.
Yeah.
And then the X part, my father helped me with that with a little woodcraft, and then we painted it like detailed as hell.
Yeah.
It was hard to paint that thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a little tricky. So we also added the X on the belt, and then the X on the utility belt right here, and